make every minute work for you? Hello everyone, time is the great equalizer. Every single one of us wakes up in the morning with the same 24 hours. The question is never, do I have enough time? The real question is, what am I doing with the time I have? Think about it. A minute wasted is never coming back. You can lose money and earn it again. You can lose opportunities and find new ones. But once the clock ticks, that moment is gone forever. That's why the wisest investment you will ever make is not in a bank account, not in real estate, not in stocks. It is in the minutes of your life. Now, here's the secret. If you learn to make every minute work for you, the minutes will turn into hours, the hours into days, and the days into a destiny you designed on purpose. But if you let minutes slip through your fingers, life will slip through your fingers too. Let me give you an example. Most people spend minutes as if they were pennies, carelessly, without thought. They gossip, they complain, they scroll endlessly, they wait for things to happen. But successful people treat their minutes like gold coins. They guard them. They trade them for learning, for growth, for action. They don't let small distractions rob them of big opportunities. The truth is, you don't have to revolutionize your entire life in a day. All you have to do is start valuing the minutes. 10 minutes spent reading can sharpen your mind. 15 minutes spent exercising can strengthen your body. A few minutes of sincere conversation can deepen a relationship. One focused hour a day on your craft can, over years, make you a master. So ask yourself, are you the owner of your minutes, or are you a prisoner of them? Do you direct them, or do they direct you? Every minute is like a little worker. You can assign it a job, or you can let it wander aimlessly. But make no mistake, it's working either way. The question is it working for you or against you? Here's the challenge. Start thinking of time as capital. When you wake up, you've been given 40 minutes for the day. What will you buy with them? Will you buy progress, or will you buy regret? Will you buy growth, or will you buy excuses? Use your minutes wisely, and one day people will look at your life and call it lucky. But it won't be luck. It will be discipline. It will be stewardship. It will be the compound interest of thousands of minutes, each spent in the right direction. So, from this moment forward, don't just count the minutes. Make the minutes count. Make them work for you. And when you do, life itself will begin to work for you. Time is the greatest equalizer. No matter who you are, where you come from, or what your circumstances look like, you and I both wake up with the exact same resource 24 hours in a day. It does not matter if you are rich or poor, famous or unknown, educated or uneducated, you don't get more hours or less hours. The clock does not discriminate. The same 24 hours that built empires, wrote bestsellers, created breakthroughs, and raised extraordinary families are the same 24 hours ticking away in your life right now. That is why the question is never about how much time we have. The real question is always, what are we doing with the time we already possess? Some people turn their 24 hours into wealth, wisdom, and legacy. Others turn theirs into regret, wasted effort, and missed chances. The difference is not in the hours themselves, but in how those hours are used. When we look at people who achieve remarkable success, we often forget they do not have more time than we do. What they have is a better understanding of how to use it. They treat time as the most precious commodity on earth, while others treat it as something cheap, something easily thrown away. The greatest mistake people make is to think they are waiting on more time, waiting for the right time, waiting until they are older, richer, or freer. But the truth is, the time you are waiting for is already in your hand. Every day when the sun rises, you are given another 24 hours, another opportunity, another blank page to write the story you want. That is the fairness of time. It does not favor the talented. It does not favor the lucky. It favors the disciplined. Think about it like this: the billionaire and the beggar both woke up this morning with the same 24 hours. The difference lies in how they each chose to direct them. One decided to focus, to plan, to work on the important. The other may have let distractions, excuses, or idleness consume the day. Time itself does not create the gap between people. Choices made inside time do. That is why time is called the great equalizer. It gives us all the same starting line every morning, but it is the way we run the race during those hours that separates destinies. The clock does not care about your excuses. It does not care about your mood. It does not slow down because you are tired, and it does not speed up because you are motivated. It keeps ticking steadily, minute by minute, hour by hour. For everyone, you cannot stop it, you cannot rewind it, you cannot negotiate with it. All you can do is decide whether you will use it wisely or waste it carelessly. When you begin to understand this, you start treating your time with respect. You stop trading it for things that don't matter, and you begin to see it as the currency of your life. Every decision you make is either buying you a better future or selling your future for temporary comfort. Consider this: A student who spends 1 hour a day studying may not seem different from the one who skips. A writer who spends 30 minutes a day writing may not look extraordinary compared to the one who procrastinates. But after months and years, the small, consistent use of time creates a canyon of difference between them. One has knowledge, skills, and opportunities. The other has excuses and wasted potential. The equality of time makes the inequality of results. That is why we cannot blame time for what we have or don't have. We can only look at how we've used it. Time is not just hours on a clock, it is life itself passing by. Each day you spend is a piece of your life gone forever. You are not spending hours, you are spending yourself. That is what makes time so valuable. Money can return, opportunities can reappear, relationships can mend, but the hours you lose today will never return. That is why successful people protect their time fiercely. They do not allow every distraction, every request, every trivial demand to consume them. They decide carefully who and what is worthy of their hours. They know that to give away time thoughtlessly is to give away pieces of their destiny. The equality of time is both a blessing and a responsibility. It means you are not behind anyone because everyone starts the day with the same 24 hours. But it also means you cannot blame anyone else if your life does not reflect what you desire because the hours you had were the same as everyone else's. When you grasp this truth deeply, you stop living as if life is happening to you, and you start living as if life is happening through you. You realize the hours are not enemies, they are tools. They are the raw material from which you can build whatever future you imagine. So the next time you catch yourself wishing for more time, stop and remember that you already have all the time there is. You are holding in your hand the same measure of hours that built every dream, every business, every masterpiece, and every transformation you admire. The difference between you and the person you aspire to become is not the clock, it is how the clock was used. The greatest equalizer has already given you the gift. The only question is whether you will honor it or waste it. Minutes are investments. Every 60 seconds that passes from your life is not just time gone, it is capital spent. Most people never think of it that way, and because they do not, they spend their minutes carelessly, like loose change jingling in their pocket. They gossip them away, scroll them away, worry them away, until the day is gone and nothing of value remains. But those who achieve, those who grow, those who build something lasting, they look at each minute as a coin of gold. They ask themselves before they spend it, what return will I get from this? Will this minute I am about to spend bring me closer to my goals, or will it steal from my future? The way you treat your minutes determines the wealth of your life. Just as a wise investor never throws money into the wind, a wise person never throws away their time. If you gave someone $1,000 and watched them set it on fire, you would call it madness. Yet every day, people burn through their minutes with no thought at all, and it is far more costly than burning money. You can always earn more money. You cannot earn more minutes. Once they are gone, they are gone. That is why time is a more serious currency than money, and why every choice with your minutes matters. Think of every minute as a seed. If you plant it in good soil, it will grow into something. 1 minute of study compounds into wisdom over years. 1 minute of movement compounds into health and energy. 1 minute of gratitude compounds into joy and stronger relationships. But plant your minutes in bad soil, and what grows is weeds, distraction, regret, wasted opportunity. The power of a minute is not in the minute itself, but in what it compounds into. Just like money invested grows with interest, time invested grows with results. The tragedy is that most people do not realize their minutes are seeds until they look back years later and see what they have grown, and by then, the garden has already been planted. When you learn to treat minutes as investments, you stop asking, what do I feel like doing right now? And start asking, what is worth this minute of my life? That change of perspective is powerful because feelings are temporary, but choices with your time are permanent. You may not always feel like reading, but investing that minute into reading changes your knowledge. You may not always feel like working on your craft, but investing that minute into practice changes your skill. You may not always feel like reaching out to someone, but investing that minute into connection changes your relationships. The returns do not always show up instantly, but they always come. Minutes invested wisely always return multiplied. The truth is, everyone invests their minutes somewhere. You are never not investing. If you spend them in distraction, you are investing in stagnation. If you spend them in negativity, you are investing in unhappiness. If you spend them in excuses, you are investing in failure. The question is not whether you are investing your minutes, but whether your investments are paying dividends that match the life you want. The wealthy in time are those who put their minutes into things that keep paying back: growth, relationships, discipline, creativity, contribution. The poor in time are those who put their minutes into things that consume everything and give nothing back: gossip, idleness, regret, procrastination. Imagine you wake up every morning with 440 gold coins in your account. Each coin represents 1 minute. The account empties itself at midnight, whether you use the coins wisely or not. Some people will spend those coins building health, wealth, and happiness. Others will waste them, thinking there will always be more. But once they are gone, there is no refund. That is how life works. Each day you are given 40 golden minutes. The difference between people who thrive and people who struggle is simply how they invested their coins. The danger is that wasted minutes do not feel costly in the moment. Scrolling through your phone for half an hour feels harmless. Watching television for 3 hours feels like nothing. Procrastinating for a day feels small. But over years, the compound effect shows up. The hours not studied become the knowledge you never gained. The minutes not exercised become the health you lost. The moments not shared with loved ones become the relationships that faded. Just as poor financial investments catch up to you over time, poor time investments catch up to you with interest. But the good news is the same law works in your favor. Small but consistent investments of minutes create massive returns over time. A few minutes of daily discipline builds a body of work that others will call genius. A few minutes of daily gratitude builds a life others will call blessed. A few minutes of consistent action builds a future others will call lucky. The truth is, it was not luck at all. It was minutes invested wisely over and over until the harvest arrived. So the challenge is simple: stop treating minutes like pennies and start treating them like gold coins. Before you spend one, ask yourself, is this an investment or an expense? Will this pay me back, or will it leave me empty? Am I planting seeds for a future I desire, or am I throwing them on barren ground? Because every minute you spend is either building your future or stealing from it. Small moments compound. What appears insignificant in the moment often turns into something enormous over time. Most people underestimate the power of a few minutes spent wisely because they cannot immediately see the results. They think one workout doesn't matter, one page of reading doesn't matter, one conversation doesn't matter. But the truth is, everything compounds. Just like money left to grow in an account, minutes invested with discipline and focus accumulate into something far greater than their size suggests. The key to extraordinary success is not found in a single grand gesture. It is hidden inside ordinary moments multiplied consistently over the years. Think about the person who spends 15 minutes a day learning a new skill. At first, the progress is invisible. 15 minutes feels small compared to the mountain of knowledge required. But over time, day after day, the skill sharpens. After a year, that person has logged 90 hours. After 5 years, nearly 500. What seemed like scraps of time in the beginning has turned into mastery. Meanwhile, another person looked at 15 minutes and dismissed it as too small to matter, so they did nothing. 5 years later, one person has expertise, opportunities, and confidence, while the other is still in the same place, wondering why life hasn't changed. The only difference was that one understood the compounding effect of small moments. The same is true with health. 10 minutes of stretching, 20 minutes of walking, a handful of small choices each day: drink water instead of soda, take the stairs instead of the elevator. None of them look like much in isolation, but string them together across weeks, months, years, and the results are undeniable. The body grows stronger, energy increases, resilience develops. At the same time, someone else makes the opposite small choices: skip the walk, choose the junk food, neglect the exercise. At first, nothing seems to change. But over years, the compound effect of neglect reveals itself. One person is vibrant and fit, the other is struggling and limited. Both paths were built on the same principle: small moments compounding. Relationships follow this law too. A single kind word, a short phone call, a minute of genuine listening, a quick expression of gratitude. These seem small, almost trivial. But over time, they deepen trust, strengthen bonds, and build a foundation of loyalty and love. Neglecting these moments also compounds. Silence instead of connection, criticism instead of encouragement, distraction instead of attention. Each choice looks harmless in isolation, but over time it adds up to distance, resentment, and broken trust. Relationships are not built in a day, and they are not destroyed in a day either. They are built and destroyed minute by minute through the compounding effect of small moments. Consider the habit of reading. A person who reads 10 pages a day doesn't feel transformed in a week. But 10 pages a day is 300 pages in a month, the equivalent of a whole book. In a year, that's 12 books. In 10 years, 120 books. Imagine the difference in knowledge, perspective, and insight between the person who read those books and the person who didn't. That difference didn't happen in one burst of effort. It happened in small, consistent moments, compounding year after year. What makes compounding so powerful is that it works quietly, often invisibly. You don't notice the muscle growing from one workout, or the mind sharpening from one lesson, or the bond strengthening from one conversation. The results hide themselves in the beginning. That is why most people quit too early. They want the harvest without the planting, the payoff without the patience. But those who understand compounding stay consistent, and knowing that time will multiply their small efforts into something significant. The danger is that compounding does not care whether you use it for or against yourself. Neglect compounds just as surely as discipline does. Missing one day of practice doesn't ruin you, but missing one day becomes a habit, and habits compound. Eating one unhealthy meal doesn't destroy your health, but repeating it for years does. Spending 1 hour distracted doesn't cost much, but repeating it daily robs you of years of progress. Compounding is always working, whether you are conscious of it or not. The only question is whether it is compounding in your favor or against you. This is why the smallest disciplines are often the most important. The decision to set the alarm and get up on time. The choice to open the book instead of the phone. The act of writing a single page. The call to a loved one. These little things don't take much effort, but they have immense power because of the law of accumulation. Each small step is a deposit in the account of your future. Left alone, a single deposit seems meaningless. But add them daily, and they grow into wealth that cannot be ignored. The tragedy is that many people wait for the big moment. They wait for a dramatic change, a giant leap, a sudden opportunity. But life rarely works that way. The big opportunities are almost always built on the back of small, consistent actions that came before. The person who suddenly appears lucky has usually been compounding their effort for years in ways no one noticed. The harvest looks sudden, but the planting was slow and steady. If you want to change your life, stop looking for the massive breakthrough and start looking for the small moments you can compound today. 5 minutes of learning, 10 minutes of planning, a brief moment of courage, a small act of kindness. None of these will change your life in a day, but over years they will change everything. Small moments are the bricks, and compounding is the mortar. Together they build the structure of your future. Be the owner of your minutes. Every day, you are handed 440 opportunities to shape your life. Each one is a minute, and the truth is simple. If you don't take ownership of them, something else will. Distractions will own them. Other people's agendas will own them. Laziness will own them. Ownership means you decide, with intention, where those minutes go, instead of letting them slip away without your permission. Most people live as renters of their own time, not owners. They lease their minutes to television, to endless scrolling, to conversations that go nowhere, to habits that serve no purpose. But when you take ownership, you guard those minutes like property that belongs only to you. Ownership of time begins with awareness. Too many live in unconscious patterns, moving through the day without ever realizing how their minutes are being spent. They wake up late, rush through the morning, work reactively, waste hours in distraction, and then wonder why there is no progress. But an owner pays attention. An owner tracks where the minutes are going. An owner knows that every choice matters. That saying yes to one thing is always saying no to something else. Time ownership is about choosing what deserves your yes. Consider how often people give away their minutes to others. Someone calls, and without thought, they give away 30 minutes to a pointless conversation. An email notification appears, and without hesitation, they give away a chunk of their focus. Social media lights up with an alert, and without question, they give away 10 minutes scrolling. Each of these minutes belong to them, yet they handed them over for nothing. Ownership means you place value on your time, and you do not give it away cheaply. You begin to ask, is this worth my minutes? Will this move me forward, or will it hold me still? When you own your minutes, you stop living reactively. Instead of responding to everything around you, you set direction for yourself. You decide what the first hour of your morning looks like rather than letting the world decide for you. You choose to use your minutes for progress before you allow distractions to claim them. Ownership means designing your day on purpose, not by accident. It is about planning the minutes before they plan themselves. A renter of time reacts, an owner directs. It is easy to believe that losing a few minutes here and there doesn't matter. But think of it like this: if you owned a business and your employees wandered off for 10 minutes at a time, multiple times a day, the company would collapse. You would demand accountability. Yet in your own life, you are both the owner and the employee, and if you don't hold yourself accountable for how you spend the minutes, your personal enterprise collapses in the same way. Ownership requires discipline, but discipline pays. Ownership also means you do not blame others for stealing your time, because in truth, no one can take your minutes without your permission. If you say yes to every request, every distraction, every invitation that doesn't serve your purpose, you are not a victim. You are a volunteer. To be an owner of time is to learn the power of no. Saying no to what doesn't matter creates space for what does. No protects your minutes so you can invest them where they will multiply. No keeps you in control instead of being controlled. The challenge of ownership is that it forces you to confront the reality of your choices. It is easier to blame the clock, to say there isn't enough time, to pretend the minutes are slipping away on their own. But ownership strips away that illusion. It reminds you that every wasted minute was your decision, not the clock's. Every distraction you surrendered to was your choice. Every hour that slipped through your fingers was one you allowed. That kind of honesty is uncomfortable, but it is also empowering because once you admit you are the owner, you realize you also have the power to change how the minutes are used. Think about the difference between someone who rents an apartment and someone who owns a home. The renter doesn't care as much about maintenance or improvement because it isn't really theirs. The owner, however, takes care of it, protects it, invests in it because they know it belongs to them. Your minutes work the same way. If you see yourself as a renter, you'll waste them because they don't feel valuable. But once you see yourself as the owner, you begin to protect them, refine them, and maximize them. Ownership changes your relationship with time from careless to intentional. To be the owner of your minutes is to recognize that you are also the architect of your life. The house you live in tomorrow will be built from the minutes you own today. Every brick, every beam, every structure is shaped by where your minutes were placed. A future of strength, success, and fulfillment is built by ownership. A future of regret, weakness, and mediocrity is built by neglect. Ownership of time is not optional. It is the foundation upon which everything else rests. Life is built minute by minute. Every day you are stacking moments, laying them like bricks, shaping the walls of the future you will one day walk into. Most people imagine life is shaped by big events, by dramatic turning points, by sudden bursts of opportunity. But in reality, it is the quiet accumulation of minutes that creates everything. The way you spend 1 hour may not look like much, but multiplied by days and years, it becomes the pattern of your entire life. Life does not just happen to you all at once. It is designed, shaped, and molded in the hidden details of how you use your time. Each minute is a building block. One block by itself doesn't seem important. You could toss it aside and think nothing of it. But when you look at the structure years later, you see clearly that every block mattered. The strong walls were built from disciplined minutes. The cracks and weak points were built from neglected ones. A single minute seems small in the moment, but it is never small in the long run. The life you are living today is the sum total of the minutes you have invested or wasted up until now. The life you will live tomorrow depends on the minutes you are spending today. Think of the way a child grows. You don't see the change from one day to the next, but over months and years the difference is undeniable. The same is true for the growth of your mind, your skills, your health, your character. You don't transform in a moment. You transform in the compounding of minutes. One lesson learned, one practice repeated, one act of discipline followed through. Each of them invisible in isolation, each of them critical in combination. When you understand this, you stop searching for one dramatic leap and start valuing the steady march of minutes. Consider how this works in education. A student who studies consistently for 30 minutes a day may not notice much change in a week. But give it a year and they are ahead of almost everyone else. Give it 5 years, and they are a master of their subject. On the other hand, the student who only studies the night before the exam, who wastes their daily minutes in idleness, is constantly behind, constantly stressed, constantly struggling. The difference between the two is not intelligence or talent. It is how they built their lives minute by minute. The same principle applies to careers. A professional who invests time every day into improving their craft, building relationships, learning new skills, and taking action may not stand out immediately. But over years, the foundation they've built minute by minute begins to show. They rise above peers, they gain opportunities, they create influence. Meanwhile, others wonder how they became so successful, forgetting that it was not luck or one big break, but the careful construction of minutes laid down day after day. Health is another area where life reveals itself minute by minute. Choosing water instead of soda seems trivial once. Taking a short walk seems unimportant once. But repeated daily, these minutes build stamina, energy, strength, and resilience. Neglecting them builds fatigue, weakness, and disease. The body you have today is the result of the minutes you gave it yesterday, and the body you will have in the future will be the result of the minutes you give it now. Every choice, however small, is another brick in the structure of your well-being. Even character is built minute by minute. A single act of honesty may not define you, but repeated acts build a reputation. A single act of discipline may not change you, but repeated acts shape your identity. Every minute you choose integrity over compromise, growth over comfort, contribution over selfishness, you are carving out who you are becoming. Just as a sculptor chips away little by little at a block of stone until a masterpiece emerges, your choices minute by minute carve the person you will eventually be. This is why minutes matter more than people think. Big dreams are important, but they only become real through small minutes of consistent action. Goals are powerful, but they are achieved only by what you do in the next 60 seconds. Waiting for the big break or the perfect time is a mistake because the perfect time is always now. The only real material you have to work with is the minute in front of you. You cannot change yesterday's minutes, and tomorrow's are not yet guaranteed. The only question that matters is, what are you building with this one? Imagine your life as a ledger. Every minute is an entry. Some entries are deposits. They grow your skills, strengthen your body, deepen your relationships, expand your opportunities. Other entries are withdrawals, wasted time, neglected effort, distractions, and indulgences that drain your future. At the end of the day, your balance sheet reflects the sum of those minutes. At the end of a life, the balance sheet reveals the story. Nothing is hidden because every minute has been accounted for. So many people underestimate the value of a single minute, yet every great story is made of them. The books that inspire us were written one page at a time. The businesses that changed industries were built one decision at a time. The leaders we admire became who they are one choice at a time. Every achievement that looks extraordinary is nothing more than ordinary minutes compounded over time. The ordinary becomes extraordinary when it is directed with purpose. Life is not waiting for you in the distance. Life is happening now in the minutes passing before you. Each one is an opportunity to build, to invest, to create. Each one is a chance to take a step toward the future you want, and whether you realize it or not, you are building something minute by minute. The only question is what kind of life those minutes are constructing.